Discover the incredible transformation of a puppy. Heartwarming journey from rejection to love. Lily looked down at the small scruffy puppy with wide soulful eyes. His fur was a messy patchwork of browns and blacks, and his little tail wagged furiously as if it was trying to fly away. She named him Charlie. As she breathed in the sweet, earthy smell of hay and fresh dog food at the Maplewood Animal Shelter, she felt an overwhelming sense of connection. Charlie was more than just a puppy. He was a spirit waiting to be loved just like her. But despite his playful antics and affectionate nature, Charlie was overlooked by everyone who visited the shelter. "You'd think he was invisible," she mumbled, biting her lip. The other families lined up to pet the purebred puppies, cooing about their shiny coats and polished looks. But Charlie? He was a mess, a prototype of what too many people in Maplewood dismissed. "Don't you think you should focus on your schoolwork instead?" her teacher said when Lily shared her plans to adopt him. What if he has too much work? Others echoed similar doubts. The pressure stung deep in her chest, squeezing tight. Still, all she could see was Charlie's bright, hopeful eyes. He deserved a chance at love. Lily spent hours at the shelter, sitting with Charlie and teaching him tricks. They shared an unspoken bond neither could define. She remembered the stories her mother told of how the messy parts of life held the most beauty. This was Lily's mission, to ensure that Charlie wouldn't know the ache of rejection any longer. But hope often felt like a fragile thread slipping through her fingers. One rainy afternoon, as she sat with Charlie, she heard the chatter of the Anderson family. The pristine puppy they'd chosen had a pedigree as dazzling as the wealth that surrounded them. A heavy weight settled on Lily's heart. All the hard work she'd put in, the time spent dreaming and bonding, felt overshadowed by the glittering facade of a life she would never live. Lily's determination began to teeter on the edge of despair. Then a fire ignited within her. Standing before the townsfolk at the next monthly meeting, she took a deep breath, her voice quivering at first. "Charlie may not look like a pedigree," she began, eyes on the crowd, "but every soul deserves a chance, every life deserves love. Our flaws, our scruffy exteriors, they don't define who we are underneath." Her words flowed like a river, pulling them in. How could they deny the scruffy puppy the love he deserved, when they themselves were often judged too? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The heartfelt story went viral, creating an unexpected wave of compassion in their small town. Neighbors were touched, and one by one, they rallied behind Lily and Charlie, inspired by the raw loyalty she embodied. But just as her dreams seemed within reach, a rival adopter surfaced, aiming to snatch Charlie away for good. With her heart hammering and palms clammy, Lily prepared for what felt like a fierce competition for love against all odds. Would she be able to prove that sometimes the most precious gems were hidden beneath the surface? Or would this puppy, despite their connection, slip away? Just another tale of lost chances in Maplewood? As she awaited the adoption event, hope mingled with anxiety, propelling her deeper into a battle for love she wasn't sure she could win. Lily woke up the next morning feeling the weight of the world on her chest. The sun streamed through her window, but she hardly noticed. Her mind was too busy with thoughts of Charlie, and what would happen at the adoption event. She could almost hear the sound of his nails clicking on the wooden floor, his playful bark echoing in her ears. How could she let him go? The fear of losing him clung to her like a stubborn shadow. At breakfast, she picked at her toast, unable to swallow much. Her father's concerned gaze fell on her, but she forced a smile. "Just tired," she said, trying to sound convincing. Inside, her heart raced with thoughts of the competition that loomed ahead. What if the Andersons got to Charlie first? They had everything: a big house, toys, and shiny car rides. But Lily had something special too, a bond that couldn't be bought. Arriving at the shelter felt surreal. A line of people stretched out the door, and whispers filled the air, buzzing with excitement about the upcoming adoption. Lily's stomach churned. Would she be brave enough to make her case for Charlie amidst all the glitz surrounding the other puppies? When the doors opened, The crowd surged forward, eager to claim their prizes. Lily spotted Charlie, his little body quivering with joy as he greeted the influx of new visitors. She felt a pang in her heart. He should not be treated like an option. He was her choice, a piece of her world she fought hard to claim. As families entered, some paused to coo at Charlie, but they soon moved on to the puppies that looked more like models than those competing for a warm lap. But Charlie didn't know that. He bounced around, tail wagging wildly, trying to win even the slightest attention. Lily stood back, taking a deep breath, trying to steady the storm of thoughts swirling in her mind. Finally, when the moment came for adopters to make their final decisions, the chatter quieted just a bit. Lily took her chance, stepping forward. She locked eyes with the crowd of people, the warmth in her heart igniting a fire in her voice. I know many of you might see a scruffy dog when you look at Charlie, but he has so much more. He has love wrapped in fur. He has the laughter on a rainy day and the warmth when you come home. A woman from the back interrupted, her voice dripping with skepticism. But he has just a mutt. Why choose him over a purebred? Lily swallowed hard, feeling the weight of judgment heavy upon her. But Charlie deserved this. Because love isn't about pedigree. It's about connection. Every moment I've spent with him has shown me that he can be more than I could ever imagine. Every life has value, even if it doesn't fit a certain mold. A hush fell over the crowd. She could sense the shift, the intrigue sparking in some eyes. Hope fluttered inside her like a candle flickering in the dark. Then, just as things felt like they might turn, she saw the Andersons move forward with determination, their eyes set on Charlie, their sleek image juxtaposed against her earnest plea. Would he really be whisked away by someone who didn't see his true worth? A sharp pain pierced her heart, threatening to break her resolve. Would Lily be able to reach out and save Charlie from becoming just another tale of forgotten love? As she looked down at him, his big eyes locking onto hers, she knew this wasn't just about a puppy anymore. It was a battle for acceptance and identity, not only for Charlie but for herself as well. All she could do was hope and believe. Behind her, whispers floated through the crowd. Tensions were building. The moment of truth was close. Would she find the strength to fight for what they both needed? Time was running out. Lily felt a wavering surge of courage as she stood firm, willing to fight for Charlie. A wave of emotion swept through her. Anxiety and hope danced together like two old friends caught in a whirlwind. She took a small, shaky step closer to Charlie, her heart pounding louder than any noise in the room. Please, she said softly, but it was directed at Charlie, her own little beacon of light. You're not just a dog. You're my friend. As she said those words, she felt her voice grow stronger, echoing through the crowd like a chant of the heart. Charlie doesn't deserve to be treated like he is less than anyone else. He is loved. He is wanted. And that is what matters most. The faces around her shifted. Some people frowned, some nodded, and a few looked genuinely touched. It was like she could feel the air change, the tension that hung thick like fog beginning to lift just a little. But the Andersons had already moved close, their polished smiles radiating an air of superiority. The man swept his hand toward Charlie, ready to scoop him up and take him home. What she doesn't understand, he said, his voice smug, is that we can give him everything he could want. A backyard groomer's, trips to the vet, he deserves the best. Lily's heart sunk. With every word she felt Charlie slipping further out of reach. But she was not going to let that happen. She wouldn't lose her voice in the noise of affluence and fancy words. He doesn't need the best of everything, she blurted out, her emotions spilling over like a dam finally giving way. He just needs the best of us. That was it. The room fell silent again. The whispers were now cautious, people weighing her words against their own thoughts. She could feel their eyes boring into her, asking questions and wondering how could they disregard what mattered most in the world. Connection? Love? The shared moments that made life worthwhile? Lily turned her gaze fully to Charlie, who looked up at her with bright, curious eyes, as if sensing her determination. You know I love you, don't you, buddy? She spoke directly to him now, her voice trembling yet full of warmth. Charlie responded by wagging his tail fiercely, his joy radiating like sunlight on a cold morning. The woman from before, the skeptic, seemed to soften just a fraction. But there are so many puppies here. Why fight for one who is not perfect? Because he doesn't need to be perfect. Lily shouted now, passion spilling out of her. He is perfect for me. Just like I'm perfect for him. We fit together like pieces of a puzzle. And that's what matters. The crowd was leaning in, drawn to the emotional weight of her words. She felt raw and exposed but also free, as the truth of her connection to Charlie flowed out of her, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Yet, the moment was about to shift again. Just when she thought she might win over the crowd with her feelings, a little girl tugged on her mother's sleeve, pointing at Charlie. I want that puppy, Mommy. The one with the floppy ears. He is bouncy and cute. Lily's heart surged and dropped at the same time. Could her connection with Charlie be overshadowed by a little girl's innocent wish? Would all her fighting and earnestness be for nothing? With a deep breath she steadied her heart, knowing the battle was far from over. Hope, fear and determination merged into one as she braced herself, glancing back toward Charlie, who seemed to sense the growing tension. What would happen in the next moment? Would a child's wish overtake her plea? Or could love triumph in this unlikeliest of places? Time stretched, and the air hummed with uncertainty as Lily prepared for whatever step came next in this critical, unfolding journey. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she saw the little girl's eyes light up with excitement. The girl glanced back at her mother, pleading with a hopeful gaze. The momentum in the room shifted again, tension hanging like a tightrope between longing and loss. Mommy, please, the girl chimed, her voice sweet but piercing. He is perfect. He is the one I want. The mother hesitated, her fingers fiddling with her purse's clasp, uncertainty flickering across her face. It was the kind of indecision that echoed throughout the crowd. Would they choose the appealing image of a polished life for Charlie, or would they listen to the voice that spoke of love so urgently? Lily took another step forward, feeling the weight of the eyes upon her. She glanced down at Charlie, who looked up at her with his big, trusting eyes, as if he understood that everything was at stake. Charlie, she whispered, unable to keep the quiver from her voice. We can do this. We just have to believe. Charlie is not only adorable, she called out to the crowd, her voice rising with newfound determination. He's part of a family. My family. The crowd's murmurs transformed into a tapestry of emotions: sympathy, curiosity, and some sparked understanding. The man from the Andersons scoffed, crossing his arms. You really think this connection will hold up when the reality sinks in? Dogs get messy, they get old. They need more than just love. Lily felt a fiery surge of frustration. Charlie doesn't just bring love, he brings joy. He brings laughter when things get tough. When I'm sad, he is always there, wagging his tail, ready to pull me out of darkness. That's something money can't buy. Her words hung in the air. They felt real, like the weight of a warm embrace. Charlie stood there, an embodiment of that very joy she spoke of, his floppy ears bouncing slightly as he wagged his tail in support. As if sensing the shift, the little girl turned back to her mother, her voice small. But he loves her. Can't we love him too? Adults exchanged glances. Lily could see the walls beginning to crack. The skeptic woman looked thoughtful, her arms uncrossed as she leaned in. Isn't that what we all want? To be loved. She glanced at her friends, hesitating as if a new realization was dawning, a collective questioning of their values. Lily felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, connection could triumph over privilege today. But just then, the mother of the little girl stepped forward, shaking her head gently. I want our daughter to have everything, but I also want her to understand what truly matters. The little girl tugged at her mother's hand again, her voice soft but resolute. Mommy, can we call him our puppy too? Can we be a bigger family? The crowd fell into a hush, enraptured by the innocent simplicity of the girl's wish. Lily's heart swelled. What was the point of having everything if it didn't bring fulfillment? Yet doubt still loomed. Would the child's sincere plea be enough to tip the scales? As she gazed at Charlie, whose tail wagged like it had a life of its own, she could feel her own heart pounding, hoping that love would win. Just as the atmosphere shifted with anticipation, the man from the Andersons stepped forward. Let us put it to a vote, he declared, a sly grin creeping back onto his face. Let the crowd decide who gets Charlie. Lily's pulse raced. This was it. The moment of truth lingered dangerously in the air, fraught with unpredictability. Would love be recognized in the fierce competition for hearts? As the crowd began to murmur in agreement, Lily prepared herself for what was to come. What would the majority value in a puppy, a fleeting desire or a lasting bond? Would they actually feel the love that connected her to Charlie? In that pivotal moment, she realized everything hinged on one crucial outcome. Would her voice carry in this unexpected crossroads? The future of her little family awaited that decision, and Lily braced herself for whatever lay ahead. Would she be able to cement their connection, or would it be shattered by a vote that could break her heart? The answer was just around the corner. Lily felt her heart thud in her chest as the crowd leaned toward the man from the Andersons, faces filled with apprehension and intrigue. It was as though time stretched, every second hanging heavy with possibility. She couldn't let her faith waver now. She swallowed hard, grounding herself in the moment. "Please," she called out again, her voice shaking but firm. "You all see how much this little girl cares. She wants him to be part of her family, and he deserves that." From somewhere in the crowd a voice piped up. "What happens if things get tough? Can you guarantee this little girl will take care of a dog when it gets hard?" The question hung in the air, sharp and cutting. Lily felt her stomach twist, but she wouldn't cower. "Love is hard," she responded, her tone rising with passion. "It isn't always simple or easy, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. Charlie has been my rock. I know how much care and joy he brings to my life, and I want to share that with someone who will love him as fiercely as I do. Isn't that the real measure of a home?" She glanced at Charlie, who was now nuzzling against her leg, sensing her tension. His fur felt like a warm reminder that love didn't always need grand declarations. Sometimes it resided in quiet moments, like the feel of a pet snuggled against you. The little girl's eyes sparkled, yearning for her mother's approval. "Mommy, I promise I'll help. I'll take care of him. We can love him together." Her words poured out like a gentle rain, full of innocence and hope. Motion rippled through the crowd, an undercurrent of empathy beginning to weave its way into the tension. Adults exchanged glances again. Some were nodding, a few were biting their lips. The mother, torn between wanting the best for her daughter and understanding the weight of the little girl's request, looked awash with emotion. "Honey," she faltered, glancing at Charlie, who seemed to offer his support through a soulful gaze, as if to say, "I'm ready for love too. Can't we just take a chance?" A man behind the skeptical woman chimed in. "What if this really can work? It's a family, it's a beautiful thing." One by one, murmurs gained momentum, transforming skepticism into the quiet stirrings of compassion. Lily felt a swell of gratitude towards those who could see beyond the surface. "Let us put it to a vote?" the man from the Andersons suggested again. But this time his tone lacked its earlier arrogance, taking on a note of uncertainty. Lily's breath hitched. "A vote, yes. But let us not decide based on just a show of hands. Let us share our hearts instead." A calm washed over the gathering, as though they were all leaning in, sensing the weight of the moment. "Each of us has felt the heartache of losing a connection," she continued. "The pain of being alone. What if we chose based on who we believe can truly love Charlie and give him the home he deserves? What if we believe in something deeper? In a family knitted together by heart instead of convenience?" The crowd's murmurs shifted again, realization dawning at a deeper level. They were deciding something monumental, and it wasn't really about who could provide the best material life for Charlie, it was about finding a home. Just then the little girl raised her hand, a bright spark of hope. "I want to share a secret with Charlie." Lily's heart raced. "What do you want to share?" The crowd leaned closer, eyes wide open, eager to hear. With a grin the girl bent down, whispering something in Charlie's ear. The dog's response was immediate, a wagging tail and an undeniable sparkle in his eyes, as if he were in on a cherished secret. But what could the little girl reveal that would sway the crowd even more powerfully than their arguments? Would it be enough to make that final leap of faith? Lily held her breath, waiting for the words that could change everything. The little girl, still whispering to Charlie, suddenly pulled back, her eyes shimmering with excitement. "He can be my best friend," she proclaimed, her voice piercing through the quiet. "I'll tell him all my secrets and he can tell me his." Lily saw the impact of her words ripple through the crowd. Faces softened, eyes brightened. The skepticism that loomed just moments earlier seemed to fade, replaced by a warmth, a connection forming like threads weaving together in a tapestry of hope. "What if he is not just a dog?" the little girl continued, stepping closer to Lily and Charlie. What if he's family? That simple phrase struck like a match hitting coal. The crowd murmured, and Lily felt a rush of emotion rise in her throat. Family. It was the word that had clung to her heart since she first took Charlie in, teaching him the warmth and love that she herself yearned for. Watching the dog wiggle with unrestrained joy, Lily saw a reflection of her own desires. Charlie was more than just a pet, he was her companion, her very own family member. And perhaps, just perhaps, he could be that for others too. Family means support, Lily spoke up, her voice steady but fragile with emotion. It means sharing laughter and tears, the good times and the tough times. Charlie knows how to love hard and be there when it counts. And that's what makes a home. The little girl straightened, determination glowing on her face. I can take care of him when he is sad. I'll brush his fur, feed him, and we can go on adventures every day. Please let us try. I'll never give up on him. One older woman standing near the front wiped at her eyes. I remember when I was a child. We had a puppy like Charlie. He was my best friend, my comfort. I can see that spark in that little girl's eyes today. It's like I'm looking at my own past. The sentiment spread. Faces around the circle turning from doubt to belief. Every word felt like a step toward uniting their community under something greater than mere judgment. Maybe it really is about more than just circumstance, isn't it? Someone else chimed in quietly. It's about connection, it's about love. The man from the Andersons nodded, sensing the shift. All right, let us do this properly. Let us share one thing we love about dogs. Let us keep this heart-centered. His voice was steady now, an anchor in the tidal wave of emotions as the crowd began to share stories, tales of companionship, warmth, laughter, trials and triumphs. Lily felt transported. Each revelation wrapped the gathering closer together, a shared human experience echoing around them, drawing everyone into the essence of love itself. Then, the little girl clapped her hands, drawing everyone's attention again. Can we give Charlie a family name? He should have one. She turned to Charlie and whispered, how about Charlie Adventure? Lily couldn't help but laugh. The idea was pure, whimsical, everything a child's heart could hope for. The energy around them crackled with anticipation. If we can give him a name, someone said quietly, maybe we can give him a home too. But just then a tall figure stepped forward from the back. It was the father, a stern look on his face that could dampen even the sunniest day. That sounds nice and all, but can a little girl really handle the responsibilities that come with this? The crowd froze. Lily felt the tension twist again into an uncomfortable knot. Hadn't they come so far? And now they were facing this reality once more? Would their hopeful dreams fall apart at the hands of doubt? Or could Lily find a way to bridge that gap one last time? Lily's heart raced as she locked eyes with the girl's father. His sternness seemed to cast a shadow over the hopeful spirits of the crowd. She could feel the energy shifting, doubt creeping back in like fog. Would the little girl's dream slip between their fingers because of one man's uncertainty? Can she handle it? Lily thought. The question hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. But deep down she knew the answer. She felt it in her bones. It wasn't just about training a dog. It was about forging a bond that could change lives. And Charlie was all about love and loyalty. He could help with that. Lily stepped forward, her resolve firing up like embers in a hearth. I believe she can. Charlie has a special way of bringing out the best in people. I've seen it myself. He's a healer, a joy bringer. Just look at how he lights up. She gestured to Charlie, who was wagging his tail, basking in all the attention. The crowd began to murmur again, their enthusiasm flickering back to life as they considered Lily's words. Somewhere in the back, the older woman who wiped her tears was nodding solemnly. A connection is the best teacher, she said softly. Dogs teach us responsibility through affection. The father looked skeptical but faltered. He shifted, glancing at the little girl, whose eyes sparkled with unshed tears. You really think so? He asked, his tone softer now. I do, said Lily, feeling the knot in her stomach loosen just a little. But it takes a village to raise a dog, just like it takes a village to guide a child. We can all help. It's about teaching each other, about lifting each other up. You won't be alone. Not if we do this together. At those words the crowd leaned in, gathering around Charlie like bees drawn to nectar. They began to share more stories, how a dog changed their lives, how they found companionship in furry friends during the hardest times. Each voice added to the warmth that wrapped around them, rekindling hope in the air. The little girl stepped forward, her small frame steady. I can be responsible. I promise I'll love him every day no matter what. Her voice wavered at the end, trembling with spirit and sincerity. There was a reluctant nod from her father, and a small crack appeared in his serious facade. Well, he began, but the little girl rushed in. Please, Dad. We can do this together. I need him and I know he needs me too. It'll be our family. Her voice rang clear, unwavering. Suddenly, the older woman spoke up again. I recall a time when I thought I couldn't handle something. But love helped me through. Sometimes we discover strengths we didn't even know we had. There was a collective nod among the crowd, a rising tide of affirmation. For a brief moment, a silence settled, filled with possibility. The crowd held its breath, waiting to see what the father would decide. I suppose we could give it a trial, he said finally, his voice softening further, eyes glistening with uncertainty and a hint of pride. But you'll have to show me you're serious. Responsibilities come first. The little girl's face lit up, a radiant sunrise breaking through gray skies. I promise I will. Thank you. Thank you. She wrapped her arms around Charlie, who nuzzled her neck, sensing her joy, blessing their new journey with his sweet, warm presence. Cheers erupted from the crowd. Hope surged back as a wave of claps and laughter swept through everyone, transforming the earlier tension into a celebration of unity. Together they had taken a step toward becoming a real family, woven together by love, laughter, and a shared desire to grow. Just as the celebration began to unfold, a nearby voice cut through the joy. But what happens when life gets in the way? What if things get hard? Lily's heart sank slightly, but she quickly turned to the crowd, feeling their eyes on her once more. How could she rally them for what was to come? What challenges awaited as they stepped into this endeavor together? Lily took a deep breath, prepared to respond. There was still so much ahead of them. The journey was far from over, and the real test was just about to begin. Lily stood there, the cheers of the crowd swirling around her, but the question echoed in her mind, heavy and real. She looked at the little girl, now joyously clinging to Charlie, her bright smile like a beacon in the dusk. But as that joy painted a beautiful picture, it faded slightly when faced with the reality of life's unpredictability. What if it got hard? Life gets messy, Lily began, her voice steady but gentle. That's the truth. There will be challenges. Training a dog is no walk in the park. It's a journey filled with bumps that test our patience and love. She could see the father absorb her words, his brow furrowing in thought. The little girl kept her eyes glued to Charlie, oblivious to anything but the warmth radiating between them. But here's what I know, Lily pressed on. Each time you stumble, each time you face a challenge, you'll discover something about yourself you didn't know existed. You'll uncover strengths and resilience that will make you all grow. It's in those tough moments that we truly learn to love. The father shifted again, caught between his protective instincts and the spark of belief kindling in his heart. What if she gets frustrated? What if Charlie doesn't listen? Then they'll learn together. An older man piped up. I remember when I adopted my dog. He chewed my shoes and knocked my plants. I lost my temper, I did. But every time he looked at me with those big sad eyes, I couldn't stay mad. We learned together how to communicate better. The woman from earlier nodded. Love makes room for patience. With a little understanding, both the girl and Charlie will thrive. They'll teach each other. Lily felt the crowd slowly connecting, their stories weaving like vines around the budding relationship. The little girl took a brave step forward, her voice trembling but strong. I won't give up on him. We'll be best friends. Lily beamed, encouraged. This was what they needed, a heart full of promises and a belief that they could and would rise when things got tough. Then the father took a deep breath, his expression shifting as he looked at his daughter, and appeared to finally grasp the enormity of the moment. Okay, but if things get rocky, you need to promise me something. The little girl looked up with wide, hopeful eyes. What? That you'll talk to me. You'll share your worries, your victories, everything. Because we're in this together. Tears sparkled in her eyes as she nodded. I promise, Daddy. Just like you said. With that, the tension thawed even more. The crowd erupted into joyous applause that filled the air with triumphant laughter, a sign of hope that things were going to change. Together they had recognized the strength found in vulnerability, the power of connection, and the beauty of growth through shared challenges. As the sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting a warm glow over them, a small whisper of hardship stirred in the back of Lily's mind. How would they navigate the difficult times when they came? Her thoughts spiraled toward the future. What if the little girl faced bullying at school because of her connection to Charlie? What if their bond was tested in ways they couldn't foresee? Remember, this is just the beginning, Lily spoke, feeling the warmth in the air as she addressed the crowd. It's not about if hardships will come, it's about how we handle them together. Every hurdle can be an opportunity for love and transformation. But the uneasy churn in her stomach reminded her that some transformations wouldn't be easy. As Charlie wagged his tail and the little girl giggled, anticipation mixed with an undercurrent of fear filled Lily's heart. With one final glance at the two kindred spirits, she whispered under her breath, "This is where the real journey begins." Just then, a loud bark echoed from Charlie, breaking the circle of excitement. Could they weather the storms ahead when love alone wasn't enough? Lily's heart raced as she watched the little girl kneel down to Charlie, her hands trembling with excitement. The crowd began to disperse, their laughter mingling with the fading sunlight, but she stayed rooted in place, a vivid picture of this moment etched in her mind. The little girl was all giggles and joy, and Charlie mirrored that energy with his boundless enthusiasm. But deep inside, a nagging thought swirled. What lay ahead for them? The imagery of the little girl's bright smile and Charlie's wagging tail danced in her mind, but shadows lurked behind those joyful moments. She inhaled deeply, feeling the cool night air and the weight of what might come as they packed up. A woman with soft eyes approached her. "You really care about them, don't you?" "Absolutely," Lily replied, her voice steady. "They deserve this chance." The woman smiled knowingly. Then her expression turned somber. "It's not always easy, is it?" "I've had my moments," she paused, searching for the right words, her voice quieter now. "When we adopted our dog, he had behavior problems. It was tough for my kids." Lily nodded, understanding the complexity that came with living in harmony with another living being. "But those bumps taught you all how to love deeper, didn't they?" "Yes, they did," the woman confirmed, her eyes flickering with memory. "We grew together, and now we can't imagine life without him." "But I won't lie, those early days were hard." The conversation weighed heavily, planting seeds of doubt that Lily tried to shake off. Could Charlie become a challenge that might set the little girl up for disappointment? She remembered the father's concerns. They echoed loudly in her ears. What if Charlie didn't listen? What if the girl felt frustration bubbling over? The little girl's laughter rang out again, pulling Lily from her thoughts. There was pure joy as she threw a tennis ball across the field, and Charlie chased after it, the embodiment of youthful energy. A flicker of hope ignited in Lily as she realized that it was precisely these little moments, the shared smiles, the contagious laughter that would help shape two lives intertwined. But then, as twilight cloaked the park in deeper hues, a different thought intruded. What if bullying turned that joy into sadness? What if the little girl faced ridicule at school because her love for Charlie made her different? It was a fear that twisted her stomach. As she turned to leave, she caught a glimpse of the father kneeling beside his daughter, their heads bent together, sharing a quiet conversation. She saw him smile, a look of understanding spreading across his face. Perhaps those were the moments they would cherish. Could those moments outweigh any pain that might come? The crowd had scattered, leaving behind remnants of smiles and laughter, but Lily felt the tug of uncertainty. She took a deep breath, adjusting her bag on her shoulder, and headed toward her car. "Hey!" a voice called out. She turned to see the little girl waving. "Can Charlie come over for a playdate?" Lily laughed, her heart lightening at the innocent request. "How about we make it a puppy party?" The girl jumped, sparkling with excitement, but behind that joy lingered a thought that couldn't be ignored. This connection would need nurturing. Was she ready for the responsibility that came with it? As they exchanged numbers for future plans, Lily felt a rush of warmth, but also the familiar undercurrent of fear. Love was vital, but what if it wasn't enough? As she drove away, she considered all the possible challenges that lay ahead. This was just the beginning of their journey, a journey where love would meet reality in unpredictable ways. and she couldn't shake the feeling that the most significant tests were yet to come. How would they navigate those tumultuous waters when they arrived? Lily woke to a soft nose nudging her hand. Charlie, always the little spark of joy, was ready for another day. Sunshine streamed through the window, warming the room like a hug. Today was a big day. A field trip was planned, and Charlie would get to meet the little girl and her family. A puppy party meant they'd all come together in a celebration of love, laughter, and connection. Lily felt her heart race with hope, mixing with the lingering fear that had been her shadow for weeks. As she prepared, memories flickered, moments of doubt and worry, the doubts of others ringing in her ears. Can she handle it? What if it's too much work? But beneath those concerns lay a foundational lesson. Love has a way of conquering fear. They had fought hard to be a family worthy of Charlie, and she wouldn't let fear taint the excitement of today. When they arrived at the park, bright balloons bobbed in the breeze, laughter floated through the air, and Charlie's tail wagged like it was on fire as they stepped out. The little girl spotted them and ran, her joy radiating brighter than the sun. She knelt down, arms wide open, ready to embrace her friend. Charlie dashed toward her, barking gleefully, jumping as if the ground couldn't hold his joy. Charlie, adventure! The girls squealed. Their bond was cemented in a beautiful circle of warmth, one that shone between them, intertwining their lives in a way that felt undeniably right. Families sprinkled around the park gathered in groups, sharing stories, laughter, and their hearts. Echoes of community formed through shared experiences. Lily felt a swell of gratitude, eyes glistening as she watched the little girl and Charlie play. This was what they had fought for. This was their moment. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, casting a warm hue over everything, her fears began to soften. But just then another family approached, the Andersons with their polished smiles, ready with their prepackaged cake and ready to impress. The little girl looked apprehensive for a moment, her enthusiasm dimming. "Look at you with that scruffy puppy," the woman from the Andersons said, glancing down at Charlie with a smirk. "Why not pick one that looks more suitable for such a nice girl?" Lily felt a ripple of protectiveness surge in her chest. "Because she doesn't want just a pretty face," Lily replied, stepping forward, taking a deep breath. "She wants love. Isn't that what we all want?" The crowd began to gather again, whispers amplifying, the little girl's eyes wide and hopeful. She wanted Charlie. He wasn't just a dog. He was family, joy, and adventure. Crying out in solidarity, other families began to echo her sentiment. "Love is what connects us all," another voice chimed. The Andersons' facade cracked just slightly. Lily could see uncertainty flash across their faces, as if realizing they couldn't win against the warmth radiating from shared hearts. "This little girl has chosen love," Lily pressed, looking straight at the crowd, the urgency in her voice rising. "Every soul, every puppy, every person deserves to be loved for who they are inside, not the surface." The emotions hung palpably in the air, painting vivid pictures of every dog, every family, every moment shared in joy and love. The crowd nodded, smiles emerging. Lily turned back to Charlie, preferring the raw honesty of his scruffy fur over a perfectly groomed coat any day. "You know, it's okay to be different," she whispered to the little girl. "That's what makes everything special. And Charlie is special because he's our friend." With that, the little girl knelt beside Charlie, cupping his face between her hands, her eyes sparkling. "You're perfect to me, Charlie." When the moment hung in the air, it felt surreal. Charlie wiggled, sensing the intensity, his little tongue lapping up the love spilling forth. Lily's heart swelled with pride. They had forged a family from vulnerability and strength, laughter and love. As dusk settled in, the park turned into a magical world, every family wrapped in their own stories. The unbreakable bond between a girl and her puppy illuminated the space with warmth, challenges fading into the background when faced with love. Together they could weather any storm. Together, they would transform fear into a dance of shared adventures. With a heart full of hope, Lily gathered Charlie and the little girl, embodying the triumph of love, scruffy, messy, and real. The cheers rang, their voices intertwining in celebration, and as the stars began to twinkle overhead, Lily could finally breathe easy knowing that today, they had created a story to carry forward, a legacy of love for all those messy, beautiful moments yet to come. So here unfolds the next chapter. Don't wait. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, making our community even stronger. Tell me your reactions in the comments below. Your thoughts matter. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us spread love and inspiration together.